Welcome back to Good Day. It's time for Mother Knows Best, and this morning we're talking, is the age of the sleepover over? Do you let your kids go over to people's houses to play, to spend the night, even if it's not a bunch of kids, if it's just them? What do you guys think?
I can tell you that I don't allow my children to have sleepovers like I was allowed to have sleepovers. And I think that's just because, you know, we've become a much more cautious society and we're much more protective of our children. In fact, my kids will tell you that if they want to ask for a sleepover, they practically have to bring in a filled-in questionnaire before they, you know, who's going to be there, give me their parents, both their names, where do they go to church, where do they work, all those kinds of things before they get approval to go. So it's tough at my house.
It is at our house too. We really, there's very, very few people that I would feel comfortable with. And the thing that makes me really uncomfortable with it is when if you have someone at your house, you kind of feel like if they invite, you have to reciprocate. And I mean, I love most of my kids' friends and their families, but I mean, you can play. I think, you know, we have people over and go over to somebody's house for an afternoon. It's just the sleeping over part I don't sit right with me.
Well, when my kids were growing up, it was in the late 70s, early 80s, and it seemed like we were always good friends with the parents of the kids that they, you know, were hanging out with. So we knew the parents really well, and the parents would half time be at our house and they'd be there till midnight, and then they'd leave their kids there. So it was that kind of thing. It wasn't like we didn't know where they were going, but I know as I watched my grandchildren, it did go into a different area. They were allowed sleepovers, but it was after my daughter would go into the home, meet the parents, you know them for a few times and kind of feel like, okay, this is okay. And there were some people that after she met the parents, she said, sorry, but you're not going to sleep over there. You have to follow your instinct.
It's true that we don't have that depth of friendship anymore. I mean, I do remember having house keys to half the houses on my block, you know, or my parents did when I was growing up, and now you just don't know people as well.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, even with my son and our neighbors, we have an apartment and we're upstairs, and he was invited to a birthday party, and the little boy, and they've moved, thank God, so they won't see this, but they've moved, and he was so sweet, and the mom was nice, but I didn't know her. I just knew of her. It was just hey and bye as we were going, and so when TJ went over there for the birthday party, and she kept the door open, and Travis and I are short, so we can't really see out of the peephole, so I had a chair, and I was just up looking at the peephole the whole time across, because I was trying to watch TJ. You really don't know. I mean, I have people that I thought I knew, and then years later you see the true them, and so you have to really be careful because so many things are happening. And so when it comes to sleepovers, if I don't know you, if I don't have like at least a 20-year history with you, that's all, then chances are, no. And I'm kind of like Pat. You know, you're afraid that if you let them go over or their kids come over, then you may have to reciprocate later on. You know, you're going to have to tell them, no, I'm sorry, you know, so.
Actually, you know what, I don't have a problem with that. If they want to come over to my house, they can come over.
Oh,
Everybody's welcome at my house, but we're not going to reciprocate unless we're good with it. But you know, a surprising thing has happened. I have told parents who've invited my children over, and I've just said, you know, our children haven't been friends long enough. I'm not saying I don't know you well enough and you may be a homicidal maniac. I just say, I just haven't, our kids haven't been friends long enough. And you know, most parents will get it because they feel the same way.
Well, I mean, how do you tell a parent that, though? I mean, because kids can come over to my house, because I know I'm not crazy, you know. But, I mean, I just don't know. So how would you explain that to a parent, I guess is the question.
But that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Just our kids aren't.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean why I'm not reciprocating?
Yeah.
I'm just crazy. I'm okay with just being crazy.
Well, I tell folks I'm paranoid. I'm paranoid. It just can't happen, but, yeah.
We're going to be back in just a moment talking about this topic of sleepovers. Stay with us. Welcome back to Good Day. We are doing our Mother Knows Best segment, and we're talking about sleepovers. And we all seem to kind of have this common theme here of when we were younger, we had sleepovers all the time. It wasn't a big deal. Why do you think this has become, you know, such more aware now, I guess, of, you know, things that could be happening? People aren't who you think they are. Why do you think things have changed so much? Has it always been like that and we just never knew? Or what do you think?
I think there's two reasons. I mean, we don't know each other because we're too dang busy. I mean, we just are, you know, working all these jobs and kids in every kind of play group and running. But the other thing, I think with the media and the internet, know more about, I don't think this is any different. Human nature has been human nature, forever, but we hear more about what's been going on in different places. And of course, usually the things you hear are the negative things, the bad things. So we have more knowledge of what's going on.
Well, with the transient society, you don't know who that person is next door. Where
Right.
I think when I grew up and left my mom's home, I moved 2 doors away. So you kind of stayed in the neighborhood. These are kids you grew up with, families you grew up with, and that doesn't really happen anymore. So you don't know. It's like with the Ariel Castro, that lived in that neighborhood for all of those years, and nobody knew supposedly that he was doing that.
Yeah.
And on a serious note, because I know I'm always comical, but for me, it's a trust issue, because I was touched when I was in the 6th grade by a teacher, and that was one of the most horrible things that could ever happen to me, because it was an adult, somebody that you're supposed to trust. And so growing up, and even with my parents, I thank God for my mom and daddy. I mean, they were so wonderful. They were so supportive. We had a strong, supportive family. And so years later, I've got 2 daughters and I've got a son. And then recently, we had another family member, and he's 5. We found out that he was molested by someone that everybody knew and trusted. So when you've had people that's come into that you've trusted and that you've known, that's able to get over on you like that and really just hurt you in one of the most personal ways possible, it just makes you, if you've been around me all this time and you were able to sneak past me and I didn't see it, then every other person in the world looks guilty until proven innocent. And so I think that's the thing for me, because I know for my parents, it was because they couldn't be there to protect me at that time. And I remember the looks in their eyes. I remember my mama crying. I remember my daddy's fist clenching, and I don't want that to ever happen to my kids, because I knew how that felt. Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
So what do you do? Like, I know you've been saying you kind of talk to the parents, but how do you know someone well enough?
Okay.
Quiet.
I'll be honest, and I hope my kids' friends' parents aren't watching, but Google and Facebook are really 2 tools. I Google everybody, and there's amazing how much information is out there. I mean, if you've never Googled yourself, it's actually worth it to kind of see what's out there about yourself. But I will check that, and I talk to other parents that I do know and I have trust relationships with, and I'll say, do you know this parent, or do you know that? And I'm just not afraid to reach out to the people I think who would know them. But as we've said before, I really do go with a gut instinct. If my bottom line is I really don't have a good, strong, solid feeling about you, the sleepover's not happening.
Yeah. And for me too, if you know how to love God, then maybe you'll know how to love me. And I know that there's some people that play that whole, church thing, but I look at the lifestyle that you live and what you carry, and if we can walk together and agree. And so that's a big, huge factor for me, because, God's love will cover a multitude of sins. It's unconditional. But if you don't have His love, then I'm definitely gonna eyeball you, and I will Google and Facebook a person in a heartbeat minute. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Tracy.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, for whenever you do have sleepovers, or if you have sleepovers at your own house with your kids' friends, I know you said, Tracy, that you have some ideas for some fun sleepovers.
I do, and sort of at the risk of sort of sounding like the militaristic mom, but of course I am, I'm prior military. One of the other things that I make my children do is that if they're going to have a sleepover, they got to bring me a plan for the sleepover. It doesn't have to be in writing or in triplicate or notarized or anything like that, but they do have to bring me a plan. And the plan has to be, what ideas do you have? What would you like for me to serve? Because I want some foods that are good, and it shows me that you've considered your friend and what your friend likes. Also, what activities do you have in mind? Because what I don't want to have happen is 20 minutes after your friend gets here, you want me to take you out for movies and popcorn and Red Box and a shopping trip and all that other kind of stuff. Have a plan.
Very good. Some great advice. We're going to be back in a moment talking about birthday parties, kind of along the same line of parties and planning. So stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Good Day. We're talking birthday parties. Now, when you are planning a birthday party, what is the things that you consider?
I got a whole list.
Better go.
Okay, all right, let me tell you. With birthday parties, one thing that I have learned about birthday parties is that you can save a whole lot of money if you just plan the right way. One of the things that we did to save on money with my daughter's Sweet 16 is that we saved a tree by using Evite for the invitations instead of buying paper invitations. That's a great way to save on invitations and keep up a head count. And Brianna had a lot of fun customizing her birthday invitations and so forth with that. Of course, couponing. You know, I couponed throughout the year. You know, at her birthday party, she had really nice Chinette napkins that I paid 19 cents for because Publix will put them on sale, buy one, get one free. They're $2.19. If you get a $1 off coupon off of the Chinette, print 2 of those. So we were able to get 2 packs of paper napkins for 19 cents for her party.
Very good.
Everything that every parent, every mom should have. I love scrapbooking paper because with scrapbooking paper and so forth, you can do so much with it. What I did, and I've changed these since then, I had these big, huge string bean cans that I took and I wrapped with the scrapbooking paper at the time. And we've got flowers in them now, but this is what we put our utensils in. She had her forks and her napkins and her spoons in there. And so later on when we got through with the party, I just put their initials on it.
Aww.
So their little cans sit on the side of the bed.
That's so sweet.
So little things with decorations. I learned that if you look at your child's personality, you can actually use a lot of the decorations that's in their room. Brianna, she's into nails, so with it being a Sweet 16 and her cake having nail polish, I took all her nail polish and I just arranged it on the table with all of her nail stuff that she has and just used that as the decoration. Her party was pink, black, and white. That's what she liked. So we used all of that. Another thing too is every time these stickers go on clearance, I just went to Walmart, get the stickers when they're on clearance. I got the birthday stickers because you can make your own homemade birthday cards with the scrapbooking paper. So you can recycle a lot of the things. My son, when he has his party, I use his cards and all the stuff that he has to decorate. And another thing, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to hush. I love Gain Unstoppables. And the little jars are just so cute for me. So what I did was I went and I used my 40% off coupon, went to Hobby Lobby, and I got the sand, the colored sand, and I just, you know, alternated the colors. I'm still trying to work on my lining. These make good weights. So if you have your party outside and you're needing something to hold the tablecloth or something down, you can use these as weights. You can use them as table decor. So if you look around your house,
They also work for favors. You can put them with
exactly,
candy.
exactly,
Yeah,
and then they still have that scent to them and everything. So the jars are cute. So I saved these for different decorating ideas. So that'll save on money.
Very, very smart.
Well, and I find with boys, you don't even need to decorate with boys. I mean, the more activity, at least for ours. The most fun birthday that my Joshua ever had was my husband did in the backyard. He just pulled stuff out of his garage, and he did what is it called when you have to go through hoops and all that?
Obstacle course.
And he did an obstacle course, and I mean it was just stuff from the garage, you know. But the kids would, and then as they were doing it, they'd rearrange it, you know, so they got to do a lot of. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's
and
really
scavenger hunts too, although that takes a little more thought. My husband and I have done that for birthday or Christmas presents, you know. Just hide the gift and have them do all kinds of stuff to get to it. And
That's really fun.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Do you still do favors? Party favors? Is that still a thing?
I do, but I do them differently now than I did when my children were younger because we went to a lot of birthday parties and what we got was the plastic bag that was full of junk that didn't last more than 3 minutes and it also had a lot of candy, which my kids don't need.
And we're going to find out how she solved that problem in just a second, so stay with us. Welcome back to Good Day. We've been talking about birthday parties, and Tracy, you had just said that you weren't a big fan of the plastic bags with the junk you're never going to use. How'd you solve the problem?
Yeah, I just felt like, you know, parents, including myself, were spending too much money on those little junky items. And when one birthday party, I sat down and calculated it, and I thought, you know what? I could actually buy one nice thing, really nice thing. And so now what I do is I give one nice thing. Like I might get a set of markers, or one thing that's always a big hit, I've given the kids flashlights. They love getting flashlights.
Really?
But they only get one thing. And sometimes, you know, I'll tie a bow around it or something like that. But I spend the money, same money I would spend, but I give them something that they're going to love for a while. You know?
That's very smart.
Yeah.
Well, we've done the birthday from, you know, Chuck E. Cheese to the bouncy house to the driving the go-karts, you know, you name it, we've done it, the themes with the clowns. And the best birthday party that I think the kids ever had, y'all remember the old show Fear Factor?
Yes.
When my grandson Lou, I think he was turning 10, they threw a Fear Factor party for him out by the pool. So they did the pool, the challenge, one of the challenges was the pool, and they had food that wasn't really eyeballs, but they made it look like eyeballs, and that was one of the challenges they had to eat. And that was like, those kids were talking about that party for years after
really
that.
fun.
So something that your kids love, maybe a TV show, you can take off on that and plan a party, and it really didn't cost much to do.
That's a
Well,
really
you know
smart
what?
idea.
And it's important to do that because a lot of parents will have a birthday party, invite 5 kids and 20 adults, and it become a social event for the adults. It's really all about the kids.
Yes.
And stuff like that. I think I'm going to do that Fear Factor one with TJ's birthday in February. I think that's
It
a
was
good
great.
idea.
It was the best one out of all of the
really,
the
really fun.
millions of birthday parties we've had over the years.
Pros and cons between going to a place or having one at your home.
Pros, you don't have to clean up.
Thank you, Jesus.
That is like the pro, and that's why I always try to do it that way if I can.
Yep.
But the cons are expense, obviously. I mean,
Right.
you have to shop that.
Is it a lot more expensive?
It depends how many
It
kids.
depends where you're going and how,
Yeah.
and how many kids. That's
Yeah.
true.
There's some places in Albany that, you know, have very, very reasonable, you know, birthday party rates. Well, I mean, it's just surprising, and they'll do a lot and basically make it where you don't have to do anything except show up with a party kit and your checkbook, and you're good. But you know, my kids really do enjoy the home parties. In fact, my son would prefer a homemade cake than he would, you know, a store-bought cake. So I think they like being at their house. I think they like showing off their room. But I will say one thing, and that is, if you're going to have a birthday party, you got to think about the size. I know parents who want to invite 40 kids, not 5.
Yeah.
And you got to make it manageable, because if it gets too crazy, it's not fun.
How do you decide on that?
You know, the schools kind of manage it for you. They tell you got to invite the whole class, or all the boys or all the girls. And I'm okay with that size, because usually not everybody's going to accept. But I will tell my kids, you know, you can only have so many friends, and you'll just have to explain to them that mom's made a list, and you know, mom is the one. Blame it on me. Blame it on me. I'm the one who picked.
Well, I really don't like it when the kids just get a random invitation from another student in their class anyway, because once
they
we're
have
going back
to.
to segment 1, I really don't know those parents, and it seems like a waste of paper, you know, to just
send it, because if I don't know you, my child's not going to go.
and then a lot of the parents say you can drop off your kid. No,
Never
that's
gonna
not going to
happen.
happen. So I mean, with that, if TJ has people that he wants to invite, I tell him to let me know so that I can get in contact with the parents or their moms myself, or give them a personal invitation instead of sending out 20 invitations where 3 kids may show up. So that saves a lot. Yeah.
Very good. Any last minute thoughts?
I had a last minute thought. So join birthday clubs. And I forget the name of it, and I'm kicking myself, because you can also save money. It's one particular little website that I logged into. On birthdays, they give you like the little birthday banners for maybe $1, where you can get the little specials and everything. When you join birthday clubs, my kids, they used to look forward to getting the free Burger
meal.
King
Right,
things
the
and
meal,
everything,
stuff
so
like
that it makes their birthday extra special.
Very, very smart. So lots of different places give specials on birthdays. Keep that in mind. Thank you, ladies, so much for sharing your great thoughts with us.